keep it 100 because it's time for Hub's Huddle Podcast. Listen to the man that talks sports from football to basketball 24/7, 365. He is known as the average Joe that knows more than average about sports.
What's up, man?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host, Hub.
What's up, y'all? This is your boy Hub, man. Welcome to another episode of Hub's Huddle on this beautiful Sunday morning, November 18th, 2018. And it is time, ladies and gentlemen, for our Week 11 picks for the rest of the week. Talking about today's games and the big game tomorrow night on Monday Night Football between the LA Rams and the Kansas City Chiefs, man. But first off, let me just talk a little bit about Thursday Night Football. The game between the Seahawks and the Packers. Of course, I picked the Seahawks, and like I said, man, it just seems like every week on Thursday Night Football, it seems like the home team always win. I mean, that's pretty much been it for the whole year. But this Packers team is a little bit different. You know, I was leaning towards the Packers, but then I was like, well, they're playing on the road, and they haven't won a game on the road yet. You know, so I had to go with the Seahawks. You know, I just like the way I like what they're doing, you know, running the football, and Russell Wilson in the passing game. You know, he's throwing a great deep ball, you know, this year. But let me break it down, man. You know, Aaron Rodgers, man, he had a great game too. You know, he went 21 for 30, 332 yards and 2 touchdowns. What really hurt Green Bay in this game, you know, was their rushing attack. I mean, these guys, they had, you know, 13 carries for 48 yards and a touchdown, led by Aaron Jones. He was actually shut down this week. He had 11 carries for 40 yards and a touchdown. He averaged about 3.6 yards per carry if you break it all that down. Compared to what he did last week against the Dolphins when he ran all over the Dolphins, you know, I said, you know, their run game would have been key today. I mean, well, on Thursday, excuse me, if they were to win. But on the flip side, man, you look at the Seahawks. They had a more balanced attack, man. Russell Wilson was 21 for 31, 225 yards, passing, and 2 touchdowns. But their rushing attack was very key, man. This is what controlled the game. 35 carries, you know, 173 yards and a touchdown. That was led by Chris Carson, 17 rushes for 83 yards and a touchdown. That right there was really what, you know, told the whole key of the game. And there was some boneheaded play calling on the Packers end, and also that critical 3rd and 5 by Aaron Rodgers where he missed Aaron Jones for a quick 5-yard first down. Dude was wide open and he just didn't see him. He decided to go downfield or whatever. But, I mean, it is what it is, man. The Packers, man, they're just a different team. You know, it's going to be tough for these guys to try to, you know, get a hold of that, of one of these, you know, playoff wild card slots, especially right now with Seattle. You know, they're starting to put it together. You still got Carolina to worry about. And you also still got Minnesota, who's also in your division. Actually, Minnesota today, they're playing for first in their division, so you got between Minnesota and the Bears to worry about, you know, depending on who's going to win tonight and who's going to keep the lead of the NFC North. So I'm not, you know, I'm thinking, you know, the Packers might not even make the playoffs this season unless they just get hot. I mean, they still got that tie on their record. You know, that can always come down, you know, at the end of the day of, you know, you getting in or not, because that's not a loss on your record. So, you know, if we look about losses, you know, the Packers might slip in if a team has, you know, basically almost the same record as the Packers. But moving on, let's get into our Week 11 picks for the remaining of today, and also the big game on Monday Night Football. First up, we got the Steelers are traveling to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. It's going to be more like a revenge game here for the Steelers. The Jaguars, man, they haven't won a game since Week 5, man. That's pretty tough, man. Like I said, this Jacksonville Jaguars team is different. Like I said, I really thought, you know, they shot their load against New England in week 2. You know, too much hypeness for that game for those guys. They come out there, you know, they dominated New England in the win. And, you know, they haven't been the same ever since. You know, ever since then, you know, I think they only beat the Jets. You know, they dropped the game to the Titans. They lost, man, they lost to Kansas City. You know, they lost to the Cowboys. But I don't know, man. But this Steelers team is rolling. right now they hold the second seed in the AFC. And like I said, man, since they got that tie on that record, that's going to hold a lot of weight towards the end of the year when we're looking at seeding. So it's going to be important. Like if New England's trying to get to that second seed, because ain't nobody's going to catch the Chiefs right about now unless the Chiefs just happen to just like slip up for the next couple of weeks. But you know, that tie that the Steelers got over the Browns in week 1, that's going to carry a lot of weight, and that's going to help them out eventually, you know, going into January, so they can get that, you know, at least like 2 home games in January. But for today's game, man, I like the Pittsburgh Steelers 28-17, man. I just think Pittsburgh's offense is rolling right now with Juju and Antonio Brown. Ben Roethlisberger is having a great year so far as well. And also the emergence of James Conner and the absence of Le'Veon Bell. I'll talk a little bit about Bell later on in this podcast as well. But, you know, just James Conner, he has been, you know, running the ball very well, effectively, you know, since, you know, he has taken over here. But I like the Steelers, man. I like them 28-17. I just think the Jags are done at this point. It's about time for these guys to start thinking about a new quarterback. I mean, like I said, Blake Bortles, I like the guy, but I don't think that he is the answer for Jacksonville at the moment. Moving on, we got another one, NFC North division rivalry game. We got AFC North division rivalry game, excuse me. We got the Bengals traveling to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. Joe Flacco looks like he's going to be out today. It looks like Lamar Jackson is going to get the start. Yeah, I raved about this kid in my first episode, man. I said, this dude, he needs to be starting, man. You know, Lamar Jackson, RG3 is going to get a share of the load as well, but it's going to be majority Lamar Jackson today. The Ravens are coming in on a 3-game losing streak since 26-16. They are playing a banged up Cincinnati Bengals team, but you know, I like the Ravens today, man. I think, you know, Lamar Jackson, first start, we're going to get to see him, you know, showcase everything instead of just coming in on like a trick play. I like the Ravens in a close one. I like them 24-21 over the Bengals. Next up, we got the Dallas Cowboys traveling to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. The Cowboys haven't beaten the Falcons in Atlanta since 2006. It's been a long time, man. This one right here, I think it all changes today. I think the Cowboys, man, they had that big emotional win last week in Philadelphia. This is really going to set them up to play on Thursday, on Thanksgiving Day, against the Washington Redskins for first place in the NFC East. As long as the Cowboys do this one thing, man, I've been saying it every single week, and they did it last week. You have to continue to get Zeke involved in his offense. You got to keep feeding the man. I mean, the running game has to at least get 25 to 30 touches for these guys to win. You know, the passing game in Dallas is not the strong suit. My only fear here is that the Cowboys are going to get behind early against the Falcons with that offense. You know, Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, Mohamed Sanu, you know, and these running backs over there. I just feel that, you know, if the Cowboys get behind early, you know, they're going to go towards the passing game, which is not their strong suit. I mean, you know, if you look at Dak in his game, he literally just stares down a receiver before he even, you know, throws it to him. So like I said before, man, if you were a very great corner and can pick up on that, you can pick this dude off almost every play because he's staring down where he wants to throw the ball instead of changing, you know, looking to the left, looking to the right, looking to the middle of the field, and then releasing back to the left, you know, of the field. You know, he has to get better with that. I mean, he's still got a lot of growing pains too. You know, it's only his third year, so there's a lot of growing up to do. You know what I mean? Maturing on the part of being a quarterback. I don't think there's anything wrong with Dak. It's, you know, it's just the passing game is just not the Cowboys', you know, strong suit right now. They need to go ahead and, you know, run the ball. But, you know, I like the Cowboys there. I think, you know, they're going to have enough, you know, control the clock, feed Zeke, and I'm going to say a 24-17 win for the Cowboys in Atlanta. They get their first win since 2006. Next up, you got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the New York Giants. Man, this right here, I mean, this right here is tough, guys, because, you know, Tampa Bay, you know, They lost a tough game last week to the Redskins. They do have the last ranked scoring defense. Their defense is bad, especially, in the run game. I think Saquon Barkley is going to get off today. I like to see Odell Beckham Jr. today, and I don't know if Eli can have another game. He did pretty well on Monday, but I don't know. Is there something about Fitz magic out here, man? I have to roll with the Bucks. I'm taking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man. You're going to get Jackson, Evans, and Godwin involved in this passing game, and OJ Howard. Man, I like the Bucks today. I like them 28-24 over the Giants in a close game. Give them 4 points. Like I said, both of these teams are, they're bad teams, but I just think, Ryan Fitzpatrick has a passion over there with Tampa Bay, and these guys seem to rally around him. That's why I'm giving the edge to the Buccaneers in this one. Next up, we're going to have a pretty good matchup in Landover, Maryland. The Houston Texans are in town to take on the Washington Redskins. It's a good matchup on paper, but if you look at the Redskins, man, they're still pretty banged up offensive line-wise, and you're going to welcome in J.J. Watt and Clowney coming in. The Texans are riding on a 6-game win streak. Man, based on the strength of their defense, I'm not even going to talk about the offense. Offense, Deshaun Watson, and those receivers with Hopkins and, the newly acquired Demaryius Thomas. I really like Houston in this one. I like them, at least by 10, 27-17. I know Washington tends to play stingy at home. They're a pretty good team at home, and they're still number one in the NFC East, but I just think this Houston Texans team, they're catching the Redskins at the right time, especially with the pass rush with Watt and Clowney coming in there against a banged up offensive line in Washington. So I like the Texans today, folks, 27-17. Next up, we got a good matchup, in the AFC South Division, with the Tennessee Titans coming in against the Indianapolis Colts. Now, Andrew Luck is 9-0 versus the Titans all time in his career, but the Titans this year, man, they got a very stout defense. As we seen last week, man, they beat up on New England. I'm gonna ride out with the Colts today. I'm gonna ride with the Colts 24-20, only because of this. Like I said before, man, I said it after the Jacksonville game when they came to go play Tennessee. I said, when teams beat New England in like an emotional, fashion, they normally drop the following week. And I really see it going here because there was a lot of chatter, just Deion Lewis rather, after the game on Sunday. I think, you win an emotional game like that, big game like that, they teams tend to drop, the following week. So I'm looking for the Colts to get the win here, 24-20, to try to stay on pace with the Houston Texans in that AFC South Division. That's gonna be pretty good coming down the stretch as well between these three teams, actually, the Titans, Colts, and the Texans, with Jacksonville pretty much like I said, Jacksonville's pretty much done. Next up, we got the Carolina Panthers traveling to Detroit to take on the Lions. This right here is going to be the Cam Newton and Christian McCaffrey show versus this 28th ranked Lions defense. I think, man, Christian McCaffrey is going to eat today against this Lions defense, man. Sorry, Matt Patricia. You my guy and all, but I mean, you're going to face some trouble today. Like I always said about Cam, man, you either going to get MVP Cam or superstar Cam. Last week we got what the heck is going on, Cam. So I think today we're going to get Superman Cam. Cam actually, even though they took a beating, last week against the Steelers, he actually has 4 straight games with 100+ passer rating, man. I think that continues today as well, but I think they're going to get Christian McCaffrey, whether it be in a pass game, whether it be in a run game against this 28th ranked Lions defense. I think the Panthers get it done close because I think, the Lions still going to put up some points. But I like the Carolina Panthers today, 30-24 over the Detroit Lions. Next up, we got the Denver Broncos traveling to L.A. to take on the Superchargers, man. The Chargers are rolling, man, but, In this one, against Denver, they seem to, struggle a lot against Denver. They lost they lost 11 of the 14 games versus Denver, including the playoffs. But this right here is a different. I was gonna call him San Diego again, guys. This is a different LA Charger game. Team, man. A lot of that play action pass, out of that from Phillip Rivers. He's been playing well. Actually, Joey Bosa, I don't think he's playing today, but he did come back to practice this week. But on this side, man, at home, I know, the LA crowds ain't really, a real advantage for teams. You might see more Broncos fans in LA than you see LA Charger fans. But I like the Chargers today, man. I like the Chargers, man. The Chargers are looking very strong. It's just bad that, they could possibly still be in the mix to win their division, depending on what happens on Monday night and what happens down the stretch with the Chiefs, man. But, the Chargers are very strong, and they're going to be dangerous going into January. I like the Chargers in this one, man, 27-17 over the Denver Broncos. Next up, we got, oh, wow, I get to make a pick on this one. The Oakland Raiders are traveling to Arizona to take on the Cardinals. This is the third worst start in team history for the Raiders, and the Cardinals ain't put too much better, but I have to pick a team here. I just think, David Johnson is going to have a good game today. Larry Fitzgerald still climbing the charts, still phenomenal at this age of his career. I like the Cardinals today, 28-17. I just think the Raiders the Raiders are done too. The Cardinals are done, but the Raiders are just in a worse position. I don't know. Like I said, man, John Gruden to me is overrated. But that's for another story, another day. But I like the Cardinals today, 28-17 over the Raiders. Next up, we got America's Game of the Week. Philadelphia Eagles are traveling to New Orleans to take on the Saints. Man, this right here is a must win for Philly, especially coming off that heartbreaking loss last week against the Dallas Cowboys. Right now, they still in the mix, to try to win their division, depending on what happened between the Cowboys and Redskins over the next couple of weeks, and if Philly can start catching, like lightning in the bottle. But this is a completely different Philadelphia team, man. This ain't the same guys that had that swagger that they had last year. And I talked about it in my last podcast a little bit when just discussing those guys. But the Saints are on an 8-game winning streak. It's the longest active in NFL right now. Oh, wow. Just, you know what? See, a smart pick will be the Saints, 38-24. But I'm just going to go on the limb here. I'm going to pick the Saints today just because that's the most logical sense. But whenever a team is always counted out everywhere, they seem to somehow pull one out of the hat, especially with Philadelphia. Like I said, I live in this area, even though I'm not a fan. And I listen to their radio, all week. And the fans are pretty much, in doubt. They've been in doubt all week. We're not going to win. New Orleans going to just steamroll us. And it seems like every time they try to do that, it's like they play like a psychological game with themselves, because it seems like when the fans say stuff like that and the radio hosts, they all say stuff like that, it seems like the Eagles somehow pull one out of their hat, man. So I wouldn't be surprised if Philly won, but I'm not picking Philly today. I'm gonna pick the New Orleans Saints. I just think at home in New Orleans, Drew Brees, this offense, they did just sign Brandon Marshall. I'm not sure if he's going to play today. Probably not. You got Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram, Michael Thomas. That's a lot to cover, for this Philadelphia defense. They're missing, Ronald Darby for the year towards ACL on Sunday in Philly against the Cowboys. That's huge too. So who's really going to be able to cover, Michael Thomas? Michael Thomas having a phenomenal year as well. But I'm looking at, the strength of this, New Orleans Saints offense is these two running backs with Kamara, can either run the ball, catch out of the backfield. Same thing in you got your big back, your pounder, and Mark Ingram. I just think this is gonna be just too much for Philly. This week. I mean, today rather. But like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles somehow pulled it out their hat. But I'm picking the Saints in this one, 38-24 over Philly. And tonight we have Sunday Night Football playing the battle for first place in the NFC North between the Minnesota Vikings and the Chicago Bears. This one's a tough one for me too. I like, the Bears have been playing well, offensively with Allen Robinson coming along. Trey Burton's been pretty solid as well. Also, you got Cohen and you have Howard in the backfield. Got Cohen, he's more similar to Tyreek Hill, where you can utilize him to do different things in your offense. And then you got Jordan Howard, who's coming back on, man. But you still got this Minnesota defense, man. That's still pretty good. And then you got this offense with Kirk Cousins and Thielen. You can't forget about Stephon Diggs. And I haven't really heard that much out of Kyle Rudolph or Tidwell as well. They do have a good offense and a good defense. I think this is going to be a very, very good game. Even though, Chicago's playing at home, I'm going to edge them with the Vikings here. I like the Vikings 28-24 in this one. I think the Vikings are going to take over the NFC North tonight in this game. It's going to be a great game. Like I said, I really can see it going either way, but I had to pick a team, so I'm going to go Vikings 28-24. In this one, next up, got our Monday night matchup, the big game everybody's going to be looking forward to, which is the Kansas City Chiefs traveling to L.A. to take on the Rams. This game was supposed to be in Mexico, but as you know, during the week, it got changed over due to the conditions of the field. A lot of players and officials complaining about it, so to avoid injuries and stuff like that, they decided to move the game to L.A., with the Rams. And there are some Chiefs fans, that are complaining about, they just gave the Rams, better home field advantage. I don't think playing in L.A. is really home field advantage for L.A. because like I said, L.A. is not that kind of fan base yet between them and the Chargers. I think the Rams get more, Rams fans at their games than Chargers do. But you do see quite a few fans from other teams. Like, a few weeks back when you seen the Packers, it looked like it was like Lambeau Field on the West Coast out there. It's a lot of Packers fans there, and it's like that when certain teams come to play. Like last year when Philadelphia came, it was a ton of Eagles fans out there. So I think it's going to be a lot of Chiefs fans. If the Chiefs fans do intend to travel, it'll be a lot of Chiefs fans in LA. But this right here is the battle of the MVP front runners in Patrick Mahomes and Todd Gurley. And like I told you guys before, my pick is Todd Gurley. And as I said, I felt like Todd Gurley should have been, the MVP last year, even though I am a Tom Brady fan and I love the Patriots, but I just had to be real. I said, Todd Gurley deserved to be the MVP last year, and it is what it is. Call a lot of slack from my fellow Patriots fans, but I mean, like I said, I just like to be a realist. I'm not going to sit back and be a homer because that's my team and that's my guy. He won the MVP, but I felt like, Todd Gurley had, a better year than Tom Brady, and I'm thinking the same here this year. I think Todd Gurley is more important to his team this year than what Patrick Mahomes is over there in Kansas City. You got Todd Gurley leading the league in scrimmage yards and touchdowns. Something that hasn't been done, back-to-back years. Something that hasn't been done since Jim Brown. So this dude right here is the real deal. I know Patrick Mahomes having a phenomenal season. But that offense of Kansas City loaded Tyreek Hill, Kareem Hunt, those guys over there, home run hitters at any given moment. But the Rams, they lost Cooper Kupp for the year, and I think this is where you're going to see a lot more Todd Gurley to fill in. I mean, I know they still got, Robert Woods and Brandon Cooks, but, I think this Rams offense still runs through Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley is that, that workhorse for this offense. Had to pick a winner for Monday night. I'm going to go Rams 42-38. It's going to be a lot of points being scored. I'm not confident in neither one of these teams' defenses, so I think it's going to be a lot of points being put up. But I think it's going to be a very entertaining game for the folks who like to see games where it's a whole lot of points and not like a defensive struggle of a matchup, more like a chess match. This right here is going to be like a track meet. It's going to be, whoever can score, the most, whoever can score last is pretty much going to win. And I like the Rams in this one at 42-38, high scoring game, but I'm taking the Rams. Teams that are on a bye this week, you got 49ers, Cleveland Browns, and the entire AFC East, which is Jets, Bills, Patriots, and Dolphins. They're all on a bye this week. And let me talk about a little bit about Le'Veon Bell here. So he didn't report to Steelers on Tuesday, so he's not going to play the full season. He's not going to play at all this season, rather. He's leaving like $14 million on the table. Basically, bet on himself, man. You know what? My opinion, I think he wanted to come back before he seen Earl Thomas get hurt. And I think he just, after that, he just, I'm going to stay away. And also the comments from his teammates about him really made him stay away. And then the emergence of James Conner. I think, with James Conner coming on, it would have really, if Le'Veon would have came back, I think it would have really messed up the chemistry for, the Steelers in their running attack, even though they would have had a phenomenal two-headed monster. But, I think James Conner has been balling, and as you can see, it's proven, you don't need a top dollar, running back to get the job done. This dude's still on his rookie deal out there in Pittsburgh, and he's playing phenomenal. Le'Veon Bell, he took a bet on himself. He wanted to bet on himself and see what it is. I think maybe he got a team in that's not mentioned that might be throwing him money, like the Jets or somebody like that. I don't know, man. I'm pretty much different. You're playing in the NFL, you're making, pretty good money compared to the average individual. My whole thing is I want to win, but I understand from these guys' perspective is that, if you one hit away from getting everything taken away from you, so you want to make as much money as you can. So I'm not mad at Le'Veon Bell in that aspect. I'm just saying, he should have been, at least playing or whatever. I don't know if this is going to hurt him going into free agency next year, because Steelers is not going to tag him, man. His tag for next year is going to be $25 million, and the Steelers be absolutely nuts if they do that. So I don't see that happening. I see Le'Veon Bell going to be a free agent. Hey, let's see what happens though. Le'Veon, let's see what he still got. Especially when you miss a whole year, you come back, you got to get yourself back in the game time shape to take these game time hits. It's going to be different. So is he going to come back the same guy or not? Whatever. It is what it is. This is this guy's choice to do this, and we can't be mad at him. It is what it is at this point. So good luck to Le'Veon. Let's see how things shape up for him next year. Of course, Steelers players rating his locker and stuff, man. It's childish. Le'Veon Bell, you did what the entire league does to players, and this is the first time that we've seen something like that. So salute to him. Like I said, I'm not mad at him. Hey, I understand why. You want to get paid. You feel as though you need to get paid as like the top running back, one of the top players in the league, rather, because you do multiple things for your team, like you can catch out the backfield receiving wise, and you can run the ball. So let's just see how things shake up for him, going forward, going into next year. I'm very interested in that as well. But that's it for me today, guys. As far as my pick goes, I have going down the list here. I got the Steelers, Ravens, Cowboys, Buccaneers, Texans, Colts, Panthers, Chargers, Cardinals, Saints, Vikings, and Rams. That includes for our week number 11 picks. Let's see how well I do. I'm coming in at 92, 54, and 2 on the year. Starting my week off already with a win on Thursday, so that's pretty good. But let's see. I need to bounce back from last week. Last week I was 500 at 7-7, so we need to bounce back this week, fellas, ladies and gentlemen. So special shout outs to my daughter for running Girls on a Run yesterday morning. I was down in Dover, Delaware in support of her. My 8-year-old, she did a phenomenal job, man. She finished her for 5K under an hour, so I'm proud of her. She was tired. She said she just did it just to get a medal. So I mean, she's only 8, man. So you know how that is. But special shout outs to her. Special shout outs to all the young ladies that ran and all the buddies that ran with them in this race as well. Very phenomenal. Girl power strong. Anybody would like to donate, just check out Girls on the Run in Delaware. See how you can donate and contribute to that cause. But that's it for me today, guys. I hope you guys enjoy NFL action today and tomorrow night, the big game. I'll be back most likely on Thursday. I will have a Thanksgiving special on Thursday. Do my Thanksgiving Turkey Day special. Got 3 games on Thursday to discuss, so I'll be breaking that down as well. So look out for that, possibly Thursday morning. Until next time, guys, man, stay blessed, be safe, and have a great day. This is Hub from Hub's Huddle Podcast signing out. Peace.